March 24th, 2025. Daily Bread. Passage: 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 15 to verse 27. Key verse 15. Title: There is no God except in Israel. Then Naaman and all his attendants went back to the man of God. He stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel. So please accept a gift from your servant." The prophet answered, "As surely as the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not accept a thing." And even though Naaman urged him, he refused. "If you will not," said Naaman, "please let me, your servant, be given as much earth as a pair of mules can carry, for your servant will never again make burnt offerings and sacrifices to any other god but the Lord. But may the Lord forgive your servant for this one thing. When my master enters the temple of Naaman to bow down, and he is leaning on my arm, and I have to bow there also, when I bow down in the temple of Naaman, may the Lord forgive your servant for this." "Go in peace," Elisha said. After Naaman had traveled some distance, Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said to himself, "My master was too easy on Naaman, this Aramean, by not accepting from him what he brought. As surely as the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something from him." So Gehazi hurried after Naaman. When Naaman saw him running toward him, he got down from the chariot to meet him. "Is everything all right?" he asked. "Everything is all right," Gehazi answered. "My master sent me to say, 2 young men from the company of the prophets have just come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 sets of clothing." "By all means take 2 talents," said Naaman. He urged Gehazi to accept them, and then tied up the 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, with 2 sets of clothing. He gave them to the 2 of his servants, and they carried them ahead of Gehazi. When Gehazi came to the hill, he took the things from the servants and put them away in the house. He sent the men away, and they left. When he went in and stood before his master, Elisha asked him, "Where have you been, Gehazi?" "Your servant didn't go anywhere," Gehazi answered. But Elisha said to him, "Was not my spirit with you when the man got down from his chariot to meet you? Is this the time to take money or to accept clothes, or olive groves and vineyards, or flocks and herds, or male and female slaves? Naaman's leprosy will cling to you and to your descendants forever." Then Gehazi went from Elisha's presence, and his skin was leprous. It had become as white as snow. Daily Bread message. After experiencing God's healing power, Naaman returned to Elisha. He had received more than just healing from leprosy. His spiritual eyes were opened. He met the living God. Naaman showed his gratitude by offering Elisha a gift, but the prophet refused. Naaman then vowed to worship the Lord only. He only asked forgiveness for when he had to join his master at the temple of his God. Naaman was no longer an angry man filled with rage. He was a grateful recipient of God's blessing and a true worshiper of the Lord. He was a new person, healed in every way. Elisha sent him away in peace. When Gehazi saw the rich gifts which Elisha had refused, he decided that the opportunity was too good to miss. So he ran after Naaman and asked him for a talent of silver and 2 sets of clothing. He had seen the overflowing blessing of the Lord, but he only sought gain for himself. He tried to conceal what he had done, but God cannot be deceived. As a result of his selfish indulgence, Naaman's leprosy afflicted Gehazi. Prayer. Lord, help me to worship you only. Protect me from the temptation to gain small things in this world. Help me to know the greatness of your blessing. One word: worship God only.